Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of our Sci-Fi Model Action Live on the Bench Hangouts. I'm your host, Boyd Crompton. We've got a great group of modelers gathered up with us tonight. Let's get things started right away and go to our introductions, and we'll introduce our friend Armando Della Cabada here first. How you doing, Armando?
Doing great, Boyd. Thanks. My name's Armando Della Cabada. I'm in South Florida. Called the Model Builders. And, I'm happy to be here. Hope I can show you something tonight. This model is giving me a lot of problems. I'll show you what I got. That's loud.
Yeah, I just had to mute it.
Hold on, Armando. We can't hear you.
Do it again?
Yeah, Armando, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm in South Florida. My name's Armando Della Cabada. My channel's DLC Model Builders, and I hope I can show you guys a model I've been working on here. I've been trying to fix some stuff, but had a lot of problems this week with it. I'll show you what I mean. And but I'm finishing it up. One way or the other, I think I'm going to get this thing finished this week. And I'm happy to be here.
Glad to have you with us, Armando. And we got Chuck Brooks next. How you doing, Chuck?
Fine. How you doing?
Doing great. Tell us who you are and where you're from, Chuck.
I'm Chuck Brooks. I'm out here in Virginia, Middlesex County. I've been building models since I was like 7, so yeah, I definitely had to get in on this Hangout deal. You know, hang out with some guys that like building models because I sure do. Just kind of messing around with my Enterprise a little bit tonight, the 350 refit, just doing a little doodling and messing around with the lights I showed last week for the Viper Mark 7 engines.
Very cool. Looking forward to seeing some more on that, Chuck. And let's go to Ian next. Ian's working there on his 350 scale. Well, maybe not. He might be starting something new, but he was working on his 350 NX01 refit. What you got going there, Ian?
Well, I thought after I... Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
So, I thought after I finished my things last week, I'd have more for modeling, but on the days I had time for modeling, it was cold, and on the times it was warm, it was unavailable. So, regardless, I'm Ian from Denver, Colorado, and I'm a prop model guy. I work in the antiques business, and as I'm working on the 1/350th scale NX Enterprise refit, which is hanging out over there, but all I got is a nacelle right now, waiting for the other nacelle to dry. And while I wait on that, I'm working on the Duvenwolf from Double Zeta Gundam. So,
ooh,
cool.
It's a big boy.
All right. Looking forward to see what you got going on there. We've got Mitch Seagraves with us tonight. How you doing, Mitch?
All right. Y'all doing all right?
Yep.
Great. Glad to have you on with us tonight.
All right. I'm in North Carolina, and I just want to show you guys the big scale that I'm working on. It's a scratch build, but if I can show you this.
Oh man, big one.
Yeah.
That's great.
Can you see it okay?
Yeah, it's huge.
Oh yeah, looks good.
And that's just the saucer section.
That's going to be a monster. How long is that going to be when you're done with it, Mitch?
Ain't no rush on it.
Look forward to seeing more of that. That's really exciting. Oh,
Yes.
having some technical difficulties here, folks. Looks like we lost Mitch. Let's go to Shannon next and have him introduce himself. How you doing, Shannon?
Hello. I'm Shannon Freeman from Benton, Kentucky, a little bitty town in this little bitty state. Not many people know where Benton is even much unless you're from here. We're close to the big little river city of Paducah, Kentucky. Quilt City, USA, it's also known as.
All right. Well, your weather's probably starting to change up there too, isn't it, Shannon?
Yeah, it's starting to cool down finally.
Good.
It's wonderful to have sun all the time.
All right, we're going to go with Tag Ray up next from sunny California. How you doing this evening, Tag?
I'm doing pretty good. We've been having really hot weather here, so didn't get too much done on the garage like I wanted to, but I'm doing good. The Dodgers are no longer in the playoffs, which is a good thing.
What happened? I guess
they lost. Cardinals beat them.
That would be correct, I'm sure.
Yep, the Cardinals beat them. So now the Giants are playing, so hopefully we win this one, then we'll get to move on in the playoffs. Other than that, I'm looking forward to when we swing back around, I'll show you what I've done on my bench, how far I've gotten on the workbench.
Awesome. Yeah, looking forward to seeing that. And let's talk to Ralph from Boston, Massachusetts. He's just the opposite. He's having a cold front over there, he says.
Yeah, it's just get up to 70, it said today, but I don't think so. It's kind of chilly and windy. But like Boyd said, I'm Ralph Tenaglia from Massachusetts here, and we make all sorts of controls for your ships. And glad to be here to answer any question.
Glad to have you on with us again tonight, Ralph. And next we've got Adam Corva, who just came in. How you doing, Adam?
Terrific. I also go by the handle of Mr. Atos on the Sci-fi Model Actions website, and do some contributions from time to time out there. And right now, just relaxing.
All right. Looking forward to seeing more of what you're working on here in just a bit, Adam.
Yeah.
And let's try Mike Morgan again here. Mike's on a different computer. Mike, how you doing? Can you hear us now? He's got some really big, it's completely static now.
I can't hear anything but static.
Yeah, he's going to continue working on that problem there. We'll try and come back to him in a little bit. And let's go back to Armando here and see what Armando's been working on. He's been working long and hard on this thing, and I think he's getting really close to the end. Take it away, Armando.
What I have so far. That's the
Ooh, that looks good.
1/1000 scale Akira. Well, it looks good because it's on a webcam. There's a lot of problems with this kit. A lot of the problems that I have here are my fault, but some of them are also the fit. And I could sure use some suggestions on something that I just discovered here what came out a few minutes ago. But anyway, I've glued the saucer together. I've got all the wire through the rod. I've got the base here all set up, courtesy of Dave Pashtak. Beautiful base.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's a lot of switches, Armando.
Yeah.
You got a lot going on there.
Well, 2 of them are momentary switches, so. And I've also got the transparency, which is backlit, which will be the display for the Akira. Let me set
Yeah,
this
that's
down.
nice. All cars.
I'll show you guys.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh, that's nice.
It's backlit. When you hold it up in the light, everything illuminates, so it's pretty nice. It's got the registry on it and a master diagram. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get transparent plexiglass, 2 thin sheets cut to the same size as the box that came in that base, and I'm going to sandwich this in between them. It won't be exactly 8 by 12, but whatever's left over, I guess I'll paint black, and that'll be my top. Now, let me tell you about some of the problems I ran into with this kit. And again, some of them are self-inflicted, you know, my stupidity, but others. Well, the first thing I noticed when I had it today, I left it tilted like this overnight because I didn't want any weight on the back portion. And when I came out a few minutes before the hangout, I found that the area here, this thing that was glued with epoxy had bent. So now it's loose, as you can see. So
Wow.
I'm gonna have to figure out a way of gluing this back on there, so it won't move around, because obviously that won't do. The other thing is this attachment back here. It's an awful fit, and I tell you that this is supposed to be slanted so that it fits when you glue this whole thing together. So as a result, there's huge gaps back here, and I've tried some putty a couple of times, but it falls apart. Now, Adam gave me a suggestion last night when we were talking of using epoxy with micro balloons and mixing up a paste and putting it in there. I think I'm going to try that to see if I can get this thing solid, because it moves, as you can see, and that just won't do. There were a lot of light leaks. The fit wasn't perfect. With CA glue, you have to move fast. If you don't get the pieces together quickly, they glue in. If you've got a gap, you've got a gap. So that's what happened here. I had to fill it in with canopy glue. I got them all filled in, and I'm going to have to paint them, but obviously there's many issues I have to fix before I start painting. Main above these is this one right here. And then back here I had a huge gap, also my fault, which was because I inserted this thing too far thinking I had enough space, but when I glued the two halves of the saucer together, this together back here. So I had to fill it in with putty, which looks very ugly, but I'm going to sand it and make the best of it that I can, because frankly I want to finish this kit.
Well, a lot of challenge, but you're working hard on it, Armando. I know we'll get it done.
It feels like 3 months. Now, how can I get this thing glued back on here without doing too much damage? It's loose right now, and that's my main problem right now.
How much of a gap is in there around the rod, Armando, where you can get any material up in there?
Not much. The hole is cut pretty much to the size of the rod. But as you can see, it's movable.
Oh yeah.
See?
Can you not rub some of that 5-minute epoxy on there, and just slide it back up in there?
It won't slide very far. What I'm going to have is a goop of epoxy here. At this stage,
an idea, Armando, when you like pulling down on the rod wise, like stability wise, is it up in there good, like where you cannot pull it?
Yeah, it won't move in and out. It just moves side to side.
Okay, well then what you might be able to do, I don't think you're going to get very much. About the only material that you're going to be able to leak up into that hole would be like some thin CA glue or something like that, and that's probably not going to hold. What I'd try to do, unless you want to crack the model apart, is I'd get a flat washer that's a little bit bigger than that rod, you know, the diameter of the rod, but it's a little bit, and bring that up, and then glue that to the rod in the bottom of the model. You know, pull the rod tight and keep it so it's straight and everything. Glue that, and that washer on the bottom will be what will make the model stable on top of it, glued to the rod.
I don't know if I can do that, Boyd. The saucer is tilted back there.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, yeah, it's tilted. It's got a slant to it. In fact, the rod goes in at a slant, so it's straight.
Nice. Oh boy.
I think you're screwed, dude. I think you're going to probably have to crack that model back open.
No, I refuse to do that.
Well, I mean, you can CA it. That's the only thing that's going to be able to get in there, but it's going to be fragile. I mean, you're going to have to be careful even touching it, because that CA is just so brittle.
Kind of had a cutout there for a little bit. The only thing I could think of would be the next larger size diameter of rod to sleeve over that one.
Yeah, but I don't see what that's going to do. You have to have stability on the bottom of that thing.
Why can't you just cut it like a little a wedge? Because he's got an odd angle. It's not flat. Armando, if you can make some sort of like a wedge shape instead of like a tubular thing that's horizontal, make it to the angle that you have,
Yeah.
and that will act like a shoulder, for that ship to rest on.
With a little slant to it. Yeah, a little piece of wood. You'd have to shape it or something.
Yeah, or a toothpick with some epoxy on it, and then
Flat
break it
toothpick.
off.
Yeah, I suppose I could try that.
Yeah, flat toothpicks work good for that.
If there's not much clearance around the hole, it's like I said, it's going to be hard to get anything leaked up in there that's going to be strong enough, because you're going to obviously need kind of a good mass of material to get in there. And
Yeah.
how much detail is on the bottom of that area right around the hole, Armando? Is there a lot of detail?
No, it's pretty smooth.
Could you drill some small holes around that thing, and then use some type of a syringe that you open up a little bit, and you could squirt some epoxy up in there and get it sealed, and then just putty the holes back shut and sand them back down smooth?
That's an idea. I might be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, short of cracking that sucker open, I don't know of any other way. And if the detail's kind of low around that area, you could get away with drilling those holes and then just puttying them and sanding them back smooth and paint over it. You'd never know.
Is that their resin kit, Armando?
Yeah. My first resin kit too.
It's like if you push the rod up in there a little bit, that wad of epoxy's probably stuck on it still. Push that up in there, and then you squirt that stuff in there, and then pull it back down so it's glued to the stuff you squirted in there is gluing onto the bottom of that original pile, and then let it dry. It might be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's solid going in and out. I can't push it in and out, but I might be able to squirt some in between. If I open up the hole a little bit.
Mm-hmm. What kind of epoxy was that you used?
5-minute epoxy, kind you get at Home Depot.
Okay.
I have it here. Somewhere.
Is it the 2-part stuff?
Yeah, the 2-part stuff. The resin and the hardener. Here it is.
Yeah.
Loctite.
Red and black.
Yeah. That's good stuff.
Well, it's worked for me before. I used it on my Enterprise D, and it worked great.
Yeah.
I don't understand why this one won't. Maybe it has something to do with the properties of resin.
It might be, yeah.
Well, live and learn, I guess.
Well, you'll get it figured out there, Armando. I'm sure one of those suggestions, either that or you'll come up with something of your own that you'll figure out that'll work.
All right. Well, that's my era. One way or the other, it's going to be finished next week.
All right. I believe you. I know this guy, man. He's determined.
Deadline.
He'll get it done. You know that.
Let's see what Chuck is working on. Right now, I can only see. Oh, just as I clicked on him, he vanished. People are having some connection issues tonight. Let's go to Ian then and see what he's doing. Take it away, Ian.
Okay. Let's see what we got going on here. Well, for the NX refit, one of the things I have together, I'm waiting for the other nacelle to dry before I get them all together, but got this one all ready to go. See all that? There's the closed side, and then we've got our regular side, and I don't think you'll be able to see it because I haven't really masked off, but the things in there working, or it should be anyway. Oh, nope. I can see why that's not going to work. Once I had it all together, it was all ready, and then it embarrassed me.
It's the curse of the Hangouts, Ian. No problem. It happens to all of us.
There we go.
You go live, something's going to not work.
Yeah, exactly. So there we go. There's the red nav, and it's got the little strobe back there on the top and bottom.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's it's masked off, but you can see the glowing. And Ralph, these are the coolest circuits ever. I love this. I was like, why did I should have just spent the extra money and got this rather than the Monsters in Motion one, because the Monsters in Motion one is just seizure-inducing flash around. This is all cool and nebulous and everything, and I love it. It's just so awesome.
Yeah, I actually like that effect out of
That's
most
how they're
of them.
supposed to be anyway, right? They don't, in the show they don't rotate. They just kind
I
of.
mean, yeah, exactly. It's just kind of very subtle. Just like the Enterprise E nacelles, like even those, if you're not paying attention, but they kind of, gas and look like a nebula. It's the hydrogen particles being collected and all that stuff. So, yeah, these are so cool, so cool.
I'm glad you like it, Ian.
I love it. I love it. So yeah, that's that guy. I got the other nacelle being put together, although I encountered a dumbass problem because I don't know when I did this, but I feel like I must have dropped the nacelle or something and it chipped off one of the little claws, but not all the way, just a tiny bit, and it's the one on the top. So I guess what I'm going to do is after it finishes drying, I'm just going to scratch build a, file down the little channel and then glue it on there after it's all set. I don't know what else to do. I feel like such an idiot. Of all the things to break, at least it could have broke on the bottom and it would be less obvious, but no,
Yeah.
it's not on the top. So that's where that is, and I was going to get the nacelles all finished before I got the, started working on the main hull again. But yeah, that's pretty much where that guy's at. And then for relaxation, because that model's driving me crazy, I decided to work on this guy, the Duven Wolf from Mobile Suit Beta Gundam, and pretty cool. I don't know if anybody else builds Gundam kits, but it's like a relaxation model. Everything's molded in color. I can be lazy. I mean, I paint some, but if I just want to be lazy and paint them, I mean, I'll paint the details and stuff very casually. These Gundam markers are really cool because the paint's almost made for the plastic, so it goes on really well. And then I also love to use the, the Gundam, we got like the real touch markers, and those you can do all the like shading and stuff, and then we've got like the pen line markers, so you can go and do all the little details and stuff like that. So, yeah, those are the models I work on when I'm just like, I don't want to work on a model, but I want to work on a model, or it's too cold outside. So,
That's what I hear a lot of people say about the Gundam kits, that they really do enjoy and relax building those things.
yeah, exactly. Well, and they're getting even more and more detailed and fancy. Like this is a Gundam Thunderbolt kit, and it comes now with all the little like marking stickers like the real grades, which is really cool. So that gold marker, if you guys ever have to paint anything tiny, just a little bit of gold, get one of these because it just goes on. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it is really nice.
Yeah,
Is that the Gundam markers?
Yep. Those are good for all kinds of modeling, all kinds of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and the other thing too is you don't have to. I mean, you can use these as a marker, but if you tap them down, they have a little whatever pen, however the effect works. If you push them down, the ink or the paint will come out, and then you can just brush it on, and it's really nice. And then one other thing, just for fun, walk over here. Hopefully it won't disassemble because this is the fourth or fifth time I've repaired this, but this is Picard's phaser rifle from First Contact, the square barrel version, and it had an unfortunate incident years ago where it just broke right here. It's fiberglass, and I repaired it like 3 times, and of course this is the harder one to get. I mean, you could find not really find, but the regular version's more common. And I don't know if you guys ever noticed what movie, like in First Contact, they start off at the briefing room scene, and they've got these, and then the black ones that look like this guy.
Right.
Sitting all around the room, and they're handing them out. So then they go to the first like corridor scene where they're walking down the corridor, and they all have this version, and it doesn't. I don't remember if it has a flashlight or what the deal is or not. Then they change scenes, whatever, and then it's later on. They're still walking through the ship, but then they've all moved to this version. Just watch it, like they just switched them out at some point. It's very bizarre. So, but then this is the one that he smashes the case with when he's talking to Lily, and it has the little power, whatever, control module that comes out and stuff. So
That's cool.
but that's the guy. It has a working scope where the light turns on. I don't have batteries in it right now, but the light would come on. I just had put it away for a while because I was so irritated. It kept breaking. Something would happen and it would break, and now it's at this stage. So hopefully this is the last time I'll have to repair it. It probably won't be a costuming fun prop, so we'll see. What else? I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty shit over here. Like I said, hopefully I have a new video up. I'll make one tonight for this guy, and we'll see how far it gets. Maybe I'll get the secondary hull all finished up. But yeah, that's all I got. Oh, I'm too tall. There we go.
Good stuff, Ian. Good progress on your 350. It's looking great. Talk to Mitch and see what Mitch has got going on. What are you working on, Mitch?
I've got that saucer. I thought I showed it to you guys, but I think I got cut off.
Yeah, I was having a bad connection there.
But it's my scratch build.
Yeah, that is huge. What scale is that going to be, Mitch?
Well, it's like 43 inches saucer all the way around. I epoxied it.
That's huge.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but I epoxied it to fill in all the gaps. And this is just the mold. So what I'm gonna do is I got what do you call it, the fiberglass, but I got the release mold stuff that. And then once you I have an empty shell. What I'm hoping for.
Wow. Cool.
I'm in the dark.
Maybe you will.
On this day by day on it, but like this dome here,
Whoops. We lost him again. Well, that's an interesting project anyway, and I'll be looking forward to following with that one. Let's ask Shannon what he's working on this week. What's going on, Shannon?
Well, besides the car model, I'm waiting for this little thing to come at a 1400 scale.
Ah, okay. You are you going with the? Are you getting the clear edition kit? Is that what you're getting?
No, it's one of them old solid ones.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't find a clear edition. They didn't have one. This one was cheap because all the parts was out. They weren't painted.
Yeah.
I guess I keep getting cut off.
Clear edition is it's too expensive.
No kidding. Last I checked.
I saw one on eBay go for over $137 the other day.
Wow. Yeah.
That's,
yeah.
This one was the regular one like that, but it's a 1400 scale, and it was $10 because it had been opened.
That's not bad.
All the parts was out laying open.
You should be able to find some aftermarket decals for that, Shannon, from JT Graphics or somebody like that, because
I can get them from JT Graphics or A Creations, either one does.
The decals that that old kit comes with are just the basic registry marking numbers and stuff. That's about it.
Oh yeah, market decals ain't no fun.
Yeah.
All right. Looking forward to seeing you start that one, Shannon. Don't forget we got our this month we're doing our October Halloween group build at Sci-Fi Model Action. So
oh yeah, I seen that.
Pick out some little kit and have fun putting it together. Something creepy of your choice. You can do airplane, you can do a car, you can do a figure, you can do whatever you feel like doing this time. So we'll have some fun with that this year.
Shoot, if I'd ever thought about it, I could have hunted for and got me a Christine. Could have got me a car and decorated it like Christine, but I didn't think
that's perfect for Halloween. Yep, they've currently got it out there too. All right, let's talk to Tag and see what he's got going on. He's going to show us some progress on his workbench, I think.
Yeah. Let's see here. Make sure I do this correctly.
The photo thing works.
There, see, that's what it looked like last week.
Yep.
And this is what it looks like this week.
Wow.
Looks better.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, there's a lot more crap on it.
Oh, a lot more stuff on it, not crap. Stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's
Great lighting on that there.
that bright light above. Is that a housing that you can buy? Tag? Is that
the lights.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are just I got them off of Amazon.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. I got them off of Amazon. They're the 4-foot shop lights. They already have the housing, the chains, everything's all in the kit.
Oh, cool.
So
Yeah,
it's 3 of those.
I want to get one just like that. I've got some big fluorescent lights here, but I need one right above my bench, just like that one.
Yeah, and they're only 40 watt with the 2 bulbs, so that's why I have 3 of them.
Right.
So it gives me enough light. I mean, you can see on where's my mouse? Like right here, this part over here, that's my airbrush station. That's where I've got all my paint and airbrush and compressor and everything on that little shelf. And the big long power strip here, I suggest everybody get one of those.
Oh, I have one, yeah, just like that up against the back wall. And I used one of them, and I'm still looking for more. I still have more stuff to plug in.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you could never have enough plugs.
Yeah.
And here's the other side. This is what's behind the bench. I had some old IKEA stuff. Had a lot of drawers, so.
That's perfect.
Yep. So I got that set up. I'm still organizing stuff through the drawers. There's just so much stuff. And then the back.
Holy crap! It's a hobby store.
He's got a store, yeah.
That's exactly what my boss said. He's like, "Man, what are you doing? Opening a store?"
Putting me to shame.
It's like, "You're gonna build all those?" I'm like, "Probably not in this lifetime."
No, but that's how we roll.
Yep. But I mean, I finally got it all together. These are those Edsel metal shells. They're 2 foot by 4 foot by 6 foot.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got those off Amazon, but I suggest going down to Home Depot or Lowe's or something and buying them there, because FedEx and UPS, anything over 50 pounds, they have a tendency to drop.
Yep.
So one of my shells has a big old hole right through it.
Oh,
Yeah.
not good.
Well, especially when you get the
good shelving at those. If you have a couple of those used office supply stores in your local town, they always have those shelves, those real heavy-duty ones, for really cheap, pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, you can search Craigslist too. I found several on Craigslist, but you don't jump on them real quick. They're gone in a couple hours.
Everybody wants good shelves. Yep.
Yeah, there was actually an electronics business, small electronics business, was going out of business, and so they had the really heavy-duty metal racks, like you see at Home Depot, that they got all their stuff on. And I was going to get some of those, but they were gone in an instant also. But that's where I'm at on that.
That looks good, Tag. That's going to be a nice place to work.
Yeah, like I said, I posted on Google, and I'm like, if I can't build a model in there, I need to quit. But I saw the post you did for the Halloween thing, and since I had just pretty much gone through everything I had, reorganizing everything, I remembered I have this.
Oh yeah.
That's Celine.
Blade Runner?
No, from Underworld. Yeah, and it's a resin. It's a resin kit that you can get off eBay that comes from the Philippines, where the law doesn't matter about copyright. Because they're all knockoffs, so they always come in these little bubble packs that are sealed. So
the figure modeling community is going to be pissed.
Oh, it's been going on for years. There's nothing anybody can do about it.
Hey, I've got plenty of those. Believe me.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure every government on the planet knows, and there's nothing they can do about it. So, so they just, it is what it is. But I may see if I can do this. I'll show you the picture again.
Well, a lot of the reason for that is the prices are so high on those original kits.
Oh yeah.
$300 or $400 for a little statue figure. Just like, that's crazy. It took them 30 or 40 cents to make it out of the material it cost.
Yeah. Plus the Philippines is definitely a third world, if not fourth world country. So some of that money I hope is helping feed some people over there. But I might see if I can put that together before the 31st or the 30th.
That'll be cool. Looking forward to that one, Tag. And
that's it from here.
All right. Well, that's good. That's a nice shop. Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm so eager to get back to modeling.
Oh yeah, I don't blame you.
I'm tired of dirt.
More on that P38 project.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cut out. I got some stuff to do. Great talking to you all.
Take
Okay,
care.
Armando.
Bye, Armando.
Okay, let's introduce Bob Busking. He just joined us. How's it going, Bob?
All right, how's everybody tonight?
Good.
Great.
Working on my P38 for the Foxhawk community bill.
That looks so familiar.
Just
Just a little bit smaller. Yeah, I have the small one too.
Well, Bob, we posted about the Halloween group build over at SFMA. You going to come up with anything?
You know what I have sitting over there? I have the Munsters Mansion. We'll see if we can get that going.
All right. Way to go, Bob. Man, that Bob, he builds models. He's a model building machine. I'm telling you.
Bought that last year for Halloween and ended up doing the vampire instead.
Does it come with Lily?
No, unfortunately not. No.
Ah, bummer.
Hard Spot. I'd rather have Spot. So.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Lily.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about that you're working on tonight, Bob?
No, not really. I mean, I finished the Abrams last week, but you showed that on your model shop, guys.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Beautiful weathering job.
Yeah, and when seeing the pictures, I actually realized I had the tracks on backwards, so I since have gone back in and changed them.
I didn't notice. The model looks great.
And,
So that's the Polish version?
Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry. That was terrible. I'm sorry. I
had to have
retract
a
that
little more weathering
statement.
since. That's
I resemble that remark.
Yeah, I retract that statement.
I added a little bit more weathering that made it a little dustier. And, of course, my favorite part, which probably won't show up on here, is the big set of nuts on the back of the tank.
The what?
I think you did the perfect weathering job on it. Looked like it was right out of Desert Storm.
There's a big pair of nuts hanging on the back of the tank.
He said big nuts.
That's what I thought the man said.
Yeah.
It's a six-sided metal kind, but, it's all, And
Bob,
that's all I got going on right now.
Bob, I was looking at a Tiger tank that I have, kind of getting the itch to build it. And I looked in the box and saw that you had to put every single one of those tank tread sections together. Not only the pieces that go across, but the ones on the sides and the little pins that go in there in between them. I said, I'll build that one sometime.
That's what somebody suggested on this one, that they make a photo etch tank tread set for this model. I'm like, nah, I don't think so. The rubber ones are just fine with me.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's see. I see Chuck here. Let's try Chuck and see if we can talk to him. I'm seeing his icon, but he doesn't look like he's moving. Chuck, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Now, we can't see you at the moment. See if your video comes back, unless you just want to tell us what you're working on.
Oh, we're just sitting around cutting out some Lexan windows for the 350 refit for the Arboretum and the Officer's Lounge.
All right. Well, maybe when your video comes back here in a second or so, we can have a look at that. Let's introduce Eric Hawkins, who also just joined us. How you doing tonight, Eric?
Pretty good. Well, here's what I've been up to for Marlon. I got your lunchbox. And when I went back to Ollie's to pick up your lunchbox, they just got delivery of more models in.
Oh, did they?
Yes, they got the Klingon Bird of Prey in the metal can, in the metal tin.
Yeah.
So I pick you up one of those because I know you're going to want one of those.
That was, Eric, I really thank you for that, because that's the only one in the tin that I didn't have. I had all the other ones.
Oh, so you got the Bird of Prey?
Yeah, yeah, I didn't have that one.
Oh, so you need the Bird of Prey in Enterprise?
Oh yeah, yep,
Okay, no problem.
that's
And
great, man.
since there was only like $9.99 each, you can't
And
get much better than that.
that's a good deal there.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
They
good
were
deal.
selling those things for $40 at the hobby store when they first came out, or I
yeah,
think even
no,
maybe more than that, maybe 45. And I thought, wow. So I bought the paper box version, but I thought it'd be neat to have that tin,
yeah.
and that's the only one I don't have.
And because I was in charge of cooking this weekend at my place, which was crazy because everybody decided they went off at the same weekend, I cannot do any modeling for about 4 to 6 weeks.
Uh-oh.
Ouch.
Eric, stop calling me number one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the doctor said, well, here's what we can do. We can just go ahead and take that tip off, or we can try and save it. What do you want to do? It's going to take forever either way. I said, I want to save the tip. Say, okay, it's going to hurt like crazy over the next six weeks. Hope you have fun with it.
Mm.
Show me how to keep the bandage and everything like that. I'm like, great.
Yeah, the main thing you have to worry about is not getting infected, right? You have to be careful. Yeah,
That's the most important thing. You're right.
that's good. You're right-handed, aren't you, Eric? So that was on your left hand?
Yeah, I'm right-handed, but
That's
this is my favorite. But this is my favorite thing for driving.
for driving?
Yeah, I'm right-handed, so I have to use my left one.
Yeah.
Well, they'll see it. They'll see it better now with that white bandage.
Oh yeah.
Put some
But
full greases on it. You'd be good.
yeah, but I got this New Year's resolution. I'm doing it below the window now instead of out the window.
Okay. Well, let's. I think Chuck is back in here now. Let's try Chuck and
Hey, he even got a video.
yeah, show us what you've been working on there, Chuck. Oh yeah.
Arboretum windows.
Right.
Lexan, I'm going to polish them out.
Yeah, they look
Come
good.
in later.
That's good.
Then I got a question for you about the 350 refit, especially since Ralph is here. On the upgraded board that you use, do you use the LEDs that come with the kit, like specifically the ones for the strobes and the nav lights, or do you use another LED with that?
Are you talking about the refit 1350?
Yeah, I was just wondering if Boyd uses the LEDs that come with the kit for the strobes and the nav lights, or whether he's using like another aftermarket type, the 1.8s that put down.
Oh! You're talking about the LEDs that come with Ralph's lighting kit for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I don't. I use a smaller LEDs for the navigation and strobe lights on the saucer and the rest of the model. They're real small. 1.8 millimeter LEDs called Lighthouse LEDs. There we go. So hopefully you can hear me a little bit better. Yeah, they're just the 1.8 millimeter Lighthouse LEDs that have the little. You know what they look like? They're sort of more rectangle shaped, and they have a little round nub on the top of them, on the top of the lens. And those with just a tiny little bit of like maybe one size much bigger drill bit. Right. Yep. Exactly. They're available on the internet too. If you look around, type in Lighthouse LED. If you drill that hole like one size bigger on the saucer and the other spots on the model, those little nubs will fit right up in there just perfect. And I mount them so that they're flush. You know, they're not sticking up above the surface at all. And they look nice and in scale on that model.
And
okay.
You're somewhere.
Yeah, I get mine from HDA. Yep. And we've lost Chuck's video again. So let's see. Let's go over to Adam and see what Adam's been working on. Take it away, Adam.
Hi there. Well, as most of you guys know, I've been working on a Macross kit. It's for a Veritech fighter. And just show you where I am at this point. This is what it started out as.
Old.
Now, this is what it's ending up to be.
Yeah, I like that.
Go play.
And this, of course, is the fighter plane version, which has variable geometry wings, like so.
Nice.
And I'll do a quick change here. It won't be all the way, of course, but we'll just pluck the legs off.
Got to make the transformer sounds while you're doing that, Adam.
Oh man, ain't no way. Okay. Anyway, this does have swappable parts. So you start to hold the vertical stabilizers up. And this comes off and you forget about him. And it's a little fiddly. Alrighty. And this one is not as sophisticated as the newer kits, of course, but it's still pretty decent. Okay, and now you have the replacement part. This is the nose. So the user is supposed to pretend that the canopy has like a shield that comes down, which makes his chest. So just put that guy up in there, and put his head on, and the arms.
Do puzzles much?
Okay, and then his legs. Ah, and fold out his feet so he can actually stand on something. And there you have it.
Totally different. That's
Totally
cool.
different.
A model that you can keep on building forever.
Just about.
It's a Rubik's Cube.
That's
Yeah,
it.
you definitely puzzle here.
Adam, is there much painting on that? Did you do all the painting on that yourself?
All the paintings done by me.
Wow, that's nice.
Now, when the kit comes, and again, I'll just to reiterate, this is an old kit, and it's all molded in one color except for a couple of runners that's molded in white. Now, if one wanted to just kind of improvise the best they could, the color is like a light tan, and the rest of it, like I say, is white. Now, on the kit box, they're indicating to do camouflage, which you can do. And just looking at the box, you can probably do it just with a little bit of airbrushing. But on this one, this was the color was actually modified from what this is to what it really is. And any of you guys familiar with Macross or Robotech when it came out in the 80s, there was a trainer version. And this one, it's hard to tell in this little tiny cockpit. This has a two-place cockpit, just like most trainers would, like an F-18 or an F-14 or something like that. And anyway, it was to train the guys to fly these aircraft where it can go from the airplane mode to the in-between into the robot, which they call the Batroid. And in the little show, which was a series, by the way, it was orange and it's a little bit deeper tan. And the main character gets in this thing, he doesn't know what it can do, and he winds up crashing through a building or something. Well, anyway, but that's what version this is. And one of the fellows at the Sci-Fi Model Action had given this to me as a gift. And he and I collaborated on it about, well, what version this was and what color. So it was Space Pirate, by the way. And so we talked back and forth for several weeks, and he was showing me some material. And he says, "Do you think you can do that?" I said, "Oh, yeah." I said, "It's no problem." So the way this was done, looking at the reference material, you would build each subsection, like this leg, for example, or the engine. And, I mean, it's all totally articulated like this at several points. And you build it as far as you could, and you primer it and start putting your base color on. And if you needed to get into the knees, you would flex them down, get primer in that, then the base coat. Lots and lots of masking. And once you got your colors to your satisfaction, then it was just clear cutting. So, and it's just like any other traditional model. You do several good coats of clear and gloss, and you start putting what little decals they have. And then, of course, you can do your top coat, which was the satin. And the only thing about this model, I would say there's some caveats about assembling them. That, like I mentioned for you, it is fussy. When you get him into the final mode, he's kind of hard to pose because some of the limbs are a little heavy. And again, it's an old kit. And also, there's a lot of compound curves on this. So sometimes your clear coat may not come out to your satisfaction just by letting itself level. So like I've done on many of my models, with a high gloss finish, I had to go back and wet sand them. So it wasn't too terrible to do, but it was enough to where, well, I don't think I'd let that go. And it was just with 2000 grit. It was enough to level it out. And if you wanted to get it back at satin, you can get your dryer's cloth or your paper towel and just buff them a little bit. But this is pretty much on the downward slide. The only thing I've got left to do now is to finish weathering them. I've already done some paint chip marks and a few washes here and there. So it's just going to be time to break out the old air brush and kind of weather them with that and get his little bombs and gun and such. And he'll actually hold that.
Oh, that's nice. Detail on that looks nice and crisp too.
Oh yeah, yeah, and it's not a bad little old kit. I mean, these were marketed by Revell, and at the time, it was back in 1984. They were out of California, but the kit was actually molded by IME in Japan, and everything was printed and manufactured there. But of course, the difference now is if you want to get something similar to this, you can go to HobbyLink Japan or several others, and they'll be in the original brand, which was by Bandai. And of course, everything will be totally in Japanese, but the color schemes and everything will be the same as they were first released back in 1982. And it's the same kit, same everything. But you have updated ones, of course, that just came out a year ago or 2 years ago, and they're far more sophisticated. They're snap-type kits only. They're molded in color. You can paint them if you want. And they're to such a level of detail, like with the Gundams, for example, you have an internal armature, like a skeleton. So, like this leg, for example, if you had the feet splayed out like this foot has an ankle that can go side to side like a man, twist, and up in his hip joint can go this way, or twist to and fro. And he has wrists, some of his fingers move, he goes on and on and on. So, if you guys are interested in doing something with lots of fiddly bits, I highly recommend it.
That's cool, Adam. Yeah, we have a lot of people over at Sci-Fi Model Action that are into doing the Gundam and those types of kits as well. So yeah, that's really cool. Thanks for sharing that, Adam. And let's before we get to Ralph here and ask him what's going on at Tenant Controls, we've got a couple people commenting here. One of them is from let's see, asking about the base from Wolf Base. Zachary, I think it's Tyke. Zachary Tyke. I do have a question. Does anyone know what kind of mounting rod comes with the Wolf Base kit? And I think Clarence is answering you there in the chat session, Zach. But I know that Dave makes the base with the ability to put whatever size rod you want, depending on what kind of what size ship you're building or what diameter the rod might be. And he will pre-drill those for you if you just tell him what size rod you're going to use, and he'll do it on a drill press so that it's make sure that it's nice and square and level and everything too. So you might want to contact Dave there at Wolf Base, and he'll give you all the information on that. I hope that answers that for you. Let's see if we've got anything else here. Clarence is having trouble getting into the Hangout. Clarence, I think it's because it's full. There's 10 spots in here. If you see a spot less than 10, you can try clicking and getting in. Okay, and that's it for the questions for now. Let's go to Ralph and see what Ralph's working on at Tenant Controls.
Well, I got some good news. We keep changing. It has to do with the Lost in Space, the B9 robot. I think I mentioned to you last week when you and I were chatting, Boyd. What I've done is, boy, sorry, losing my voice. I'm getting cold here. What I've done is we now have two sets of phrases inside that soundboard for the robot, and the reason there's two sets is because it looks like you guys, there's like two groups out there, two types of people, the way they want to hear the sounds. They want to activate the switch and hear all the sounds, and then reactivate that switch to stop at some point if they, if they're at the fifth sound or the fifth phrase and they want to stop. And then there's the ones that want to just keep touching the button to index through the phrases one by one. So we now have the ability to do both, and that way everybody will be happy. The ones that want to hear it talk 1 through 16, or the ones that want to do their own thing at their leisure. So that's available now, and at some point when I have some time, I'll change the description on the web page for it. So that's that guy. And then we also, I've started casting because I I keep getting requests. Hey, do you do the rotating buzzer effect for the Revell 1/600 scale toss? And the answer is yes, and because you can use the TOS 18-inch buzzer effect. And I now have an insert that you put in there that's made to center that board in the oversized, I shouldn't say oversized, in the size that the nacelles, the buzzards come for the 1/600 scale. So that will be put on the website at some point. But we do have, I've started casting. It is a fun little thing to do. It's a pain in the butt, but it's something that we can do now to get those buzzer effects for the 600 scale. And I believe it'll also work for the, I think someone said there's a 1/650 scale as well. It should work for that as well. So that's those two. Then I had a question for Ian. He's working away there on that NX. Ian, did you in the past try to make your own effects with the lights and everything?
Sort of. I mean, I didn't. The first ship I actually lit was the Enterprise, which is behind me. I don't know if it's in the camera frame, but that was the round 2 kit. Mostly, I'd just been lighting props, and it was usually either a pre-made circuit for like a tricorder or a phaser, or I would just kind of, if it was just a simple, a trigger and a firing light, or little very simple things, or I would take, I don't know if anybody's ever heard of Big Dogs production out of Canada. Yep, the USB sound modules, and that's one of the things I put in this guy, and it took some finagling, but because you can get them either in, there's a bunch of different versions, but the one I use, for this phaser rifle, has 5 sound outputs and 5 buttons. So I had one for the button sound, the setting switch, and then I had another one for in the Nemesis version, it had a cocking motion that didn't make any sense, but I had that, and then I had the others for different phaser sounds. So there was the Nemesis phaser sound, and then the First Contact phaser sound, and then a generic regular phaser sound. But I had to, my electronics expertise is usually just trial and error. I've never actually taken any classes or anything, any professional experience. So
yeah, I've heard that before. Yeah, that's okay. That's good. The reason I asked Ian was because lately they've been dribbling in people like yourselves that does, I know Boyd does commission builds, and there's a few others here that do it. They're starting to come around to using, standardized controls that we make. And there's a gentleman out in Utah there that I'm into, and he says, "Listen, Ralph," he says, "can you give me some bulk pricing, because I do some builds?" And I said, "Well, sure. Just come up with the types of controls that you want, and you know, we can do a bulk. You know, you order it once and you'll be done with it. He goes, yeah. He goes, I should have done this a long time ago. There's just too many headaches trying to build things and also trying to come up with a lighting system that I have to, you know, as he said, trial and error it. And so he goes, I'm tired of that. So if I can get them from you all pre-built, all done up, it'd be good to do. So I said, sure, that's what we're here for. You know, any way we can help. So, so we're happy about that. Commission builders are starting to come over to use our controls, and like I said before, you don't have to buy the whole kit, and you can just buy the board. We're not forcing you guys to buy kits, so that works out for everybody's benefit. Your costs will be lower because we don't have to package everything up, you know, as a full lighting kit, because a lot of you guys have most of that stuff, you know, momentary switches, LEDs, LED strips, you know, power connectors. So you guys are pretty much stocked up. What you sometimes have a problem with the controls, so that's how we can help. And one last thing for you, Boyd, I'm gonna ship that flying saucer you've been waiting for, that fantastic plastic, the resin kit.
Awesome. Yeah. What's the name of that? The Thing. No,
The Thing. The Thing, yeah. Yeah, I just been neglecting to get it to you because of other things, but I got that, and thanks to Eric, we got a whole bunch of 1/1000 scale ships that we're going to do lighting kits for, and I think that's quite a few things. I think I'm done talking. I'm losing my voice.
Okay.
Ricola!
Sounds kind of rough there. Hope you don't get real ill there, Ralph.
Ralph, hot
320,
tea, lemon, and honey.
hot brandy.
Yeah, look at that. That's a mug full of, well, it was hot tea and honey. Now it's cold.
That's
Hey,
exciting stuff, Ralph. I'm glad to hear you're working on all that. And I know we were talking a lot about the robot there, and I think that having that two-way thing on the voicing is going to be nice.
Oh, that's thank you. Yeah, I think both camps should be happy now because they can activate it as far as the way they hear the sounds, whichever way, nobody will be left out. The other thing is we've also, the new instructions has the original lighting of the spokes, and then we have what Boyd did, you know, as far as letting the spokes flash. So we, again, we have multiple ways of doing it, so you can pick and choose how you want to do it, and yeah, that's pretty much, you know, I'm all about giving you guys choices, and if somebody comes up, you guys are great at coming up with new ways of doing it, so as they come up, you guys do them, we'll integrate them.
Excellent, Ralph.
Now,
Yep.
Ralph, let me know when you want me to send you those battle stars.
Yeah, let's get this batch of products, you know, back to you, Eric, and then we'll get that other stuff. I have been working a little bit on the Romulan because I had to do the torpedo sound for it, and then the bird of prey. We're starting to play with that too. So there's a lot of things going on.
You know, I'm fine. Well, I got both of the Mobius battle stars. Well, I got all three of them, so.
Yeah, of course you would.
All right. I'm going to show you what we've been working on here really quick, fellas, before we get to our open discussion here. Let me switch the cameras here for you. And back to work on the
Oh boy!
1537 that we've been doing for our client here. You can see we got all the nice little painting done on this guy on the top. And we've got our, I really like this little photo etch detail here, guys, of the dome that they give you through that paragraphics kit. That really makes that look sharp. And we got some of the bottom down here. We got the two-tone gray and the duck egg blue there on the impulse crystal, and we're going to be painting all this gray detail next. And then we're going to be sealing this thing up. We got all the work on the done here in the back with that photo etch parts. You can see the little. They're supposed to have that little kind of rectangle detail there on the edges, and that lights up, so that's going to look good. So that one's coming along, but I'm glad Eric's here tonight because I've got something I wanted to show Eric that I'm going to be starting on as a fun project for myself here. Switch the cameras here again.
Oh boy.
Okay, you can see that's the 350 scale classic Enterprise. I'm building that one, Eric. Are you excited?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, yeah.
So what do you think? 3 or 4 days, Boyd?
I'm playing with you, Eric. We're gonna do.
You've done them before.
Hang on a second, Eric. Give me a second here, and I'll
Okay.
show you what we're actually really gonna do here. You know me in this screen share thing.
Yep.
All right, can you guys see that?
There you go.
Yeah, it's a blank screen.
There we go.
Okay.
It's done now.
Destroyer.
Okay, now that's what we're gonna do with that model kit. We're gonna build one of these destroyer class TOS ships in 350 scale. So how do you like that? A little bit more exciting now?
Yeah, I like it.
It's getting better.
Yeah, see, that's why I'm glad Eric's here. Now, I've only got one question, and it's going to be the ultimate debate session here for everybody on the Star Trek stuff, okay? Hang on, let me get back to you guys. There we go. Okay, the big question about this build is, which way should the Bassard spin? Left or right?
I got another question, Boyd. Since you only got one engine, how does it turn?
Thrusters.
See, this is one of those debates like the color of the Enterprise, you know, like on the single engine ships like this destroyer scout class. On the Enterprise, you have a counterclockwise, you know, like a P-38, the way the engines rotate toward each other. So on one of these single engine guys, it'd be going to the left or to the right.
It would always be clockwise.
Here you goes. Right. Always go with the #1 engine, which is on the right.
It's clockwise.
Saying clockwise.
Pulsating.
Whichever way the right engine goes on the Enterprise, go with that way on the destroyer.
Okay, that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah. Okay. Answer the question how it turns. You use thruster motion or rocket engine to turn the ship.
Yeah. The engines are just for straight-ahead propulsion, aren't they? And then the Enterprise turns with the... I don't know how it turns. It doesn't have a rudder, so
right,
it's
for warping. Right, it's just for warping space. Thus, warp engines. Thrusters steer.
Hey, Eric, how does it stop?
How did it stop? Easy. You got thrusters in the front, and you turn off the warp engine.
Okay.
Got a big old anchor that they toss out the window.
Yeah,
Air brake.
But it's just like say you're flying the shuttle.
Bugs
you know
Bunny
that thing
brake.
is. Yeah, it got thrusters in the front to slow it down, so it goes backwards and then it got thrusters so it can invert this way. And if you look at the large scale ship, like the refit, you can actually see the thrusters on the top, bottom, and sides, and everything like that in the fourth position on the sauce.
Yeah. So I thought that would be kind of fun to work on that, Eric. I thought you might like that, and something a little different that I'm just going to be working on the side. I'm already working on engineering how I'm going to mount the engine onto the neck. You know, on the TOS kit, there's a big extension on the bottom of that neck that's like fits in a socket on the secondary hull. So what I might do is I might cut that socket out of the secondary hull and copy that pattern that's on the secondary hull and cut that hole into the top of the warp nacelle and then glue that little socket inside there, and then I'll have a nice mount for that neck to go right down on top of that.
And one of the other things I was going to suggest.
But I built one of those when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I had all the AMT kits, the original 650 scale Enterprise, and I made all those designs that you saw in the back. They made this publication by Franz Joseph back in the day that had these like blueprints of what the TOS era ships were supposed to look like. And I had the only design I never built was the one they called the Dreadnought, which was a three-engined variation of the Enterprise, and the reason I couldn't build that one is because it had a completely different body, and I think the saucer itself was thicker too. I would love to see somebody make a nice model kit of that, a resin kit or something like that that was a decent size. I thought that design was really cool on that one. There's
Boy,
I've never seen one out there.
Resin kit of that guy.
yeah, tell you the truth, boy, you can do that yourself. As you got the skill. It's just a little, take some strip, styrene, build up the deck, put
Yeah.
some.
It'd be a lot of work.
All the way. Yeah, but you got the skills. You can do it. I think you're the one here in the entire group. If I say anybody can do it, you can do it.
Oh man, well, yeah, I haven't been much of a scratch builder, or like the people out there that can mold and everything. Molding it would be the way to go. You can get secondary hull at least shaped and the saucer curvature shaped the way you want them to. But I think there's a kit out there, but it's just really small. I'd like to see one that was 650 or something like that. But
Well, for like I said, you can always do different things, even with the even with the model kit you have now. Now it's a right half and left half in the engineering section, right?
yeah,
What happens if you move it out 2 inches?
yeah,
Changes
yeah,
the
makes a
shape,
big
doesn't it?
yeah, yeah.
So I mean, you gotta look at it that way. You can always change it up that way. I mean, I got 1,000 scale refit there. All I did was just move everything out from as far as the rear goes as far out as possible with the pins, male and female pins touching each other, and it gave it almost a straight shape, and it's just a different look on it.
Mm-hmm.
And
There's one part of the TOS scout ship or destroyer class that I see I'm going to need that I can't get from the basic 350 model kit, and there's this little mount that goes on the bottom of the saucer where the planetary sensor normally goes that extends down, and then you have the little rod with your deflector dish that's sticking out from that, and it looks to me the perfect thing that would, when I was looking at all the pictures, the perfect piece for that, believe it or not, would be a plastic pawn piece from a plastic chess set. You know how the pawn looks? That's the exact shape it's almost like that's what they used or were thinking of using, and it would be perfect for that. If I can just find one that's the right scale, that would be the exact part that you need. It even has that little rib around there, like where below the round part on the top of the pawn piece, and then it has that curvature. It goes up to the thing, and then you just extend the rod off of the ball that's on the end there, and that's your reflector dish mount.
check Plastistruct catalog in the R shape. I can't even say it's R shape, but I don't know where it's at, but in the sears and the cones, you may be able to find something in that.
Okay.
I mean, they got little sears, solid plastic sears, and they got cones too, so you may be able to work with something with that. Yeah, I'm trying to find that.
Yep. Okay, guys. Well, I'm going to open it up now to our general discussion. And if anybody has any questions, tips, or comments they want to share, open floor, everybody.
Okie dokie. Well, I just want to promote the SFMU Hack Night chat for this coming Thursday. Don't y'all forget, I just mentioned it here. It's this coming Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Central Time.
All right, Shannon. And where do you post that at? Do you have a Google page?
Yeah, I do it on the Google. And
Okay.
I've already got it marked.
Is it on the Sci-Fi Fans and Modelers United page? Okay. That's where you can find that, everybody.
Yeah, when is that again, Shannon?
It's this Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Central.
Okay.
Central Time, 7:30. Okay, got it.
Okay.
Maybe I'll have a few more people besides me and Bob and Eric.
Hey,
Well, it takes a while to get people to find out about it, Shannon. I'd do more of the Hangouts, but I've only got time anymore to do the one a week. We're doing this and then the one we do on Friday nights, and otherwise I got to have time to build on my bench, or I'd go to more of them. I couldn't attend very many of the ones that Chris was having, unfortunately.
Oh, man.
Well,
Okay,
We heard this week that we heard this last week that now the rumor going on about William Shatner being in the third Star Trek movie. What do you guys think about that? They confirmed it.
Oh God, help me.
Hope they got a door big enough for his ego to fit through.
Now I can't say that because when I guy came to my convention, he was nothing but nice. He wouldn't sign me. He wouldn't give me an autograph, but he was very nice. Wasn't too demanding or anything like that. And he actually gave us some very good compliments through all these little, I don't know, convention newsletter or whatever. So he gave us some very good compliments. So I can't say he was anything else but a good guy this time.
Yeah. Well, like I said, as a fan, I'm for it. I don't know if that's if it's a late development. That what I wonder about, I'm kind of curious about if it was more like a late development, and they have to scramble a little bit to rewrite the story or the script or whatever. Because I heard a couple months ago that was already done, and if they're writing him, and apparently Leonard Nimoy is going to make an appearance in it too, so they'll be both together on the screen. So they're going to have to.
Yeah, they're gonna have to hurry that up.
I hope it's not something that, in other words, I hope it's something that's worthy to the 50th anniversary, and not something that they're just gonna throw in there just for a gimmick, and but we'll see.
Well, you never know. I mean, he may wind up playing like his grandson or great grandson, or you never know. You know what his part's going to be.
Somebody out there had a really on people have been talking about it over at Sci-Fi Model Action and a few other places, and somebody over there, I can't remember who it was, they had a great suggestion. They said what happens is at the end of the movie, when they finish with whatever adventure they just come out of in this third one, that they fade to the bridge and they show the cast of the movie guys or whoever they are, and then they're kind of fading out. Well, then they cut to this shot where all of a sudden you kind of come down through space and you go up through the bridge dome like you did on the very first episode of Star Trek, which was the Cage, the one that they made into a two-parter later and called it the Menagerie. That original classic iconic scene.
Right.
And
it was on over the weekend.
And it's William Shatner and Mr. Spock, the people that you'd normally see on the bridge. You could even get Kai and Chekhov, they're still alive. So you'd have most of the people that were on the original bridge crew. It wouldn't look strange, not seeing McCoy there, or maybe even not Scotty. But they all of a sudden fade back to that, and it's like this whole other thing was sort of like, okay, that was the alternative, and now it went back to, like they just sail off like doing their normal thing. They say a few words, and then they sail off doing their normal thing. And that ends that whole deal right there. That might be kind of cool, So
Right.
a nice tribute to them, and then and fans would say, "Oh, it went back to the original timeline," and the heck with that alternate timeline thing. So anyway, we'll see what they do with it. I'm curious about it.
It's possible. I mean, it's a good idea. I just, from a corporate standpoint, I don't think they're going to let that franchise go. Now that they've recreated it, I think they're going to try to. Well, they're going to try to beat it in the ground as far as they possibly can, like they have with all the other Star Trek movies.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, it just
all depends on how much money it makes.
Yeah.
It just seems forced to me. It's like even Into Darkness, Leonard Nimoy was just shoehorned in there. It's like they just shot it at his house over Skype. Like his hair was long enough, he didn't even need to have the ears on. It just seems like a thing that they're like, hey, William Shatner's here. Everybody come watch it because William Shatner's in it. We don't care why he's in it or what's the point of him being here, but come watch it because William Shatner's in it.
Yeah, I almost feel like maybe they should just do it like they do Stan Lee in the Marvel movies. Just
we only see him walk by or something.
Yeah, give him a little cameo here and there and something.
Nimoy's really sick, so they're gonna do something that real quick.
Yeah, that's what I'm. That's
around much longer.
Exactly, and I do hope that like I said, if whatever they do, I just hope it's done with some sort of classiness, if you want to say it that way, or dignity, or something that's. That they deserve for being there in the very beginning and creating the whole thing. So But
I like it
now, because it
do
might.
it better than Generations.
huh?
Do it better than Generations. That part.
Please.
Well, you'll get an argument there, Eric. But hey, the original series is my favorite, but I like them all.
Yeah, I like them all too. It was just that I thought the way they put Shatner into Generation. I mean, you could have. Man, that's basically. I just thought it was so shoehorned in there, like somebody said, and what happened on Enterprise B was just so stupid when you start thinking about it. I mean, it worked with the story, but I just, when you think about it, it's just like, oh, they just do it to get the original Star Trek fans into the movie theaters.
Right. Oh yeah, exactly. And that's what people are saying this is all about too. But like I said, it's getting towards the end. The 50th anniversary is very big, and these guys aren't going to be around forever. That's why, talking to Paul Olson and Jim Dow and the other people that worked on the refit and everything, they're all getting up there and everything, and I'd like to see them be around at some more of the conventions and stuff and engage with the fans, talking about their experience on working on the first film, because that first film set the standard for all the other films after it. I mean, a lot of the stuff that they created in that film, they kept on using all the way. They still use it today. Some of the fonts, the Klingon language was actually developed in that first one, which has become iconic and all that stuff. So I just would like to see them get their credit while they're still here. We always celebrate a lot of stuff after people are dead. Why not celebrate stuff that's still around to enjoy it? And that kind of thing. But
Right, board. Well, explain what you see I can't make an individual file. Sorry, I can't blow up anymore, but Windows 8 is like really crazy on this thing. But you see this one right here, see I just spread them out as far as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And right there I glued it, but it gives it a different shape.
Right.
Just double click on that image, Eric.
Oh, double click on it?
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, you guys can see it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see it's almost like a straight tube. It looks a little beefier. And even the shuttle, what I did with it, I cut it up a little bit more than this. But what I plan on doing for the shuttle is going to be like a simple straight across door that's raises up and down, just like on the Voyager.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And after that, you just cut the neck off like a third of the neck off. It changes the profile just that much more. There's so many easy things you can do with the same model kit.
Oh yeah, sure. But you've got to be good at it too. You've got to be good at cutting stuff out and knowing what materials to get and all that. I did this darn submarine that we just finished, this U-boat kit.
Right.
That was something that I never anticipated. That finding all those parts were broken, and at first not having any idea what I was going to do to try to fix it, and all of a sudden I just looked up on the wall above me and saw that magnet wire, and just a little spark went off, and I said, "Hey, that's the same diameter as these little parts that we're missing here. Maybe we could do something with it." Nah, you'll be here for hours and hours and hours trying to patch this thing up. And
well, you got to be careful, Boyd, because when you start kit bashing, it can be addictive.
Oh, I had a great time with it, and it was even greater time when I just finished building the entire cage and then dropped it on the floor and saw it shatter in a million pieces, and then rebuilt it again for the second time. So yeah, it was fun.
Well, the problem with that is not even being addicted; it's being a professional. You want to make everything so perfect.
Yeah, well, that's especially in the case of that U-boat too. Those pieces that were missing are like a critical part of the detail on the model. That whole cage thing on the back of the cockpit. If you don't have that on there, it's not the model, So I sat there and I'm like, oh yeah, and it's right up on top too, where it's going to be the most visible thing. So yeah, it was literally spending hours straightening this stuff out and making sure the rungs and everything were all equal, tilted exactly the same, and oh man, microsurgery. And then I'm glad I had Jeremy here with me because what I had to do is would have to cut these little pieces and get them exactly the right length so that they would fit in between the other parts. You know, the way they welded the piping together on that cage, on that sub, they didn't overlap the rods and just wrap your stuff around it. You had like a bar in between each thing. So I would literally hold this little piece up with a pair of tweezers and then drop a tiny little drop of CA on it, and Jeremy would be waiting there with the zip kicker to spray it. So, get it, and then I would say, okay, wait a minute, it's not right.
It's a promotion.
Okay, on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, exactly. It was crazy. And then I'd like, oh shoot, we got it crooked. You know, oh, we got to break it back off of there, and we got to try it, scrape the glue off of it, try it all over again. I mean, it just went on and on and on. But you know, it's a tough cage, I'll tell you that. It's made out of real metal. It's not going to come apart.
Yeah. You know, yeah. I suppose you're gonna get a display case for this thing.
I just stuck it inside. My wife was already asking me, where are you going to put it, that big damn thing? I took it inside, and my Refit Enterprise on my shelf, I had it pulled up towards the front, and I had a couple little car models. I just shoved them back and said, plop, and I said, here you go. That's its new dock.
Hey, Boyd, did you build that Area 51 saucer?
No, I haven't. Nope. But Ralph has a lighting kit for that, don't you, Ralph?
Yes, for the Area 51
so.
Yeah.
Okay. How about the Roswell UFO?
Nope. The only UFO I built is that little Invaders one.
Okay.
Now we're going to be working on that. You guys wait till you see that resin kit if you're interested in that. The one Ralph was just talking about, the thing.
Yeah.
Saucer. That thing is really cool, and it's a really beautiful mold. I mean, when I saw that mold at Jersey Fest when Ralph brought it there, I thought it was what do you call it? 3D printed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is perfect. You know, perfect mold. It's really detailed. So.
Yeah, those guys are fantastic. Plastic did a great job with that. You know.
It's a perfect size too, because it's about a little more than 12 inches or so. So it's not huge. It's not going to take up a lot of room, but it's got a lot of detail, and that lighting effect is going to be really neat on that, just like in the movie, the way it stays around.
Right, smaller than a Jupiter, 12-inch Jupiter 2.
Yeah, yeah, it's about 12 inches in diameter. I mean, it's plenty big.
Yeah, it's just spinner, that's all.
Yeah.
And like I said, where the lights are running around the saucer, where they had the cutouts of those are perfect, like you said.
And yeah, and I was telling Ralph that for those who want to build that kit, there's some nice footage on YouTube that somebody posted from the Thing special edition DVD where they show the behind the scenes of it was actually a female artist that built that miniature for the movie, and she talks about it. She still has the model, and she has it lit up and everything, and you can see some real good up close how it should be painted and how it's the lighting should look and all that. So there's some good reference material out there for that thing too, because in the movie you only see it for about maybe 10-15 seconds tops. It flies by on the screen and that's it. It enters the atmosphere, and that's the last you see of it. But so yeah. So again, talking about the Halloween build at SFMA, I picked out the Barnabas figure by MPC. I'm going to do that one. I'm going to do a little. I'm going to do a little lighting. I'm going to do some fiber optic. There's a couple of little rats that are down by his feet, so I thought I would take some fiber optic and light the eyes of the rats in red or something. And then I'm going to take an LED, probably an SMD, because it's more like a floodlight. I'm going to mount that on the base, like just underneath of them, shining up at them, so that like how people do those scary pictures where they take a flashlight and put it underneath of their face or whatever.
Yeah.
You see that? So it'll highlight all the shadows on the person or whatever. I think that might look kind of cool. Cool. So that's what I'm going to do with the build for Halloween. I just ordered the
original head, or did you get to buy the resin head?
No, but Bob, is there a resin head available, a better one? Because if there is, I'd like to get it.
Yeah, Chris over at Classic Plastic 101 is doing that Barnabas kit, and he got the resin head for it.
He did. Okay, I'll ask him where he got it then. Cool.
A lot more accurate than the kit head.
Yeah, I had never seen one in person, so I was kind of waiting to see what the mold was going to look like. But I kind of figured a lot of times they don't get that likeness too well on that. Probably not going to matter because I stink at painting figures. I'd be lucky if I can get him to look halfway like him with my paintings anyway.
Yeah, you got the resin head for that one.
Now here's the question: who's Barnabas?
Dark
Shadows.
Dark Shadow.
Yeah, the
Soap opera.
vampire
Yeah.
soap opera. Yeah.
That scared the crap out of
I
me when I was
remember
a
now.
kid. I used to have nightmares about Barnabas Collins. I used to have this dream that I had an upstairs bedroom, and it was right at the top of the flight of stairs, and I used to have this dream that he was slowly walking up them stairs, coming towards me with that weird cape that he used to wear, and that he had that cane, you know, it had like it was like a silver or gold, like a dog's head or something like that, with like red ruby eyes in it. And of course his big teeth or whatever in it. Yeah, I used to have nightmares about that when I was a kid, so I definitely remember the show.
You can watch episodes on YouTube of it.
Oh, the original Dark Shadows? Wow, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it was so awesome. I loved watching that show. Of course, you watch it now and it's so boring. It takes forever for anything to happen.
Well, I liked what was it back in the late '80s or mid '90s that they did the remake. I actually liked that series. They had Ben Cross, I think, that played Barnabas, and that was pretty good. But they didn't do anything original. They literally went with like the exact original storyline, and then when they were starting to get into area where they would have had to tell a new story, they canceled the whole thing. It lasted like I don't know, maybe like 20 episodes or something like that. And then they shut it down, but that was pretty
They
good.
shot it all in black and white and everything too. It was really cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, what should kind of bring up a question? What's the best TV show that got canceled after 1 year?
Best TV show?
Yes.
Star Trek.
Got canceled after 1 year.
Yeah, one season is gone.
Firefly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Firefly.
There's probably been quite a few.
Yeah, well, Saturday morning, since they don't do Saturday morning cartoons anymore.
No, not like I remember them.
Yeah, I remember there was a show called The Ark.
The what?
The Ark. A-R-K. R-T.
The AR.
Oh, Arc 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Arc 2.
that's on YouTube. You can see episodes of that. I've seen that. Boy, is that thing ever... I remember the show and thinking how cool that vehicle was that they had.
Mm-hmm.
When you watch that now, you look at it and go, man, is that cheesy? I mean, that's just a really bad show.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah,
see
look
why it got
look how tall that's going to be.
But you know what? You
Wow,
also,
that's
yeah,
big.
big.
yeah, you also
Yeah,
look at it and go,
slim.
man, that's an easy build, too.
Well, it needs to be. I only got like 2 weeks.
I hope so.
It's not.
Yeah, the figures, it's all about hiding the seams where you put them together, and then, of course, the painting on them. That's
Yeah.
why I don't do too many figures. I mean,
I can never get the faces right.
I can paint the clothes and all that real good and get the shading and all that, but when it comes to the face, that there's these tones that need to go in there, and especially like the eyes and stuff. That's really hard to get that to look right.
Yeah.
Well, the
cheekbones.
eyes, you just use decals. I don't even mess with painting eyes anymore. Just get the decals for it.
What do they have them in, like all different scales?
Yeah, there's a company called Archer. Archer something. It's a guy I watch on YouTube, Vince Vale Customs. He does a lot of kit bashing on a lot of the collectible statues that get broken and stuff. So he makes other Marvel characters out of them and DC characters and stuff like that. Yeah, he helped design some eye transfers through this company called Archer. Let's see if I can look it up real quick and find out what it's called. But they're all water slide decals.
Cool.
And they come in all different scales: 1/5, 1/6, 1/4, 1/8.
Clarence,
Wow, 1 to 1.
Clarence Smith, somebody who's watching in the audience, is asking what the name of the model from the Thing was called. It's just called the saucer from the movie The Thing. If you look it up on YouTube, Clarence, you're going to see. Just look up The Thing behind the scenes. John Carpenter's The Thing behind the scenes, and you'll find the video where they show that woman on there talking about the saucer, and it's really cool because she still got it in her possession after all these years, and she talks about how she built it. You know, she actually used some photo etch parts on it that she made herself, and it's pretty interesting. Then she lights it up, and you can see how the lighting looked, and she talks a little bit about how they filmed it and everything to get it to look good on the movie. So
yeah, I went and watched those two again last week. I went and watched the prequel, and then watched the John Carpenter one.
Yeah, I think
back to back.
You know, some people didn't like the prequel, but I thought they did a great job with it, and I loved how it tied in. The ending of it tied in perfectly with the Carpenter version. That was
that's what my little brother thought, and I'm like, no, I'm like, dude, you got to watch the prequel and then watch John Carpenter's right after it, and then you'll get it. You'll get such a better appreciation for the prequel because it's almost seamless the way it goes from the prequel to the original.
Yeah, and then to do that, like, what, 25 years later, or maybe 30 years later, so yeah, that's really cool. I'm a big fan of the Carpenter version. I still think that movie, for using, not using CGI, using puppets and things like that, is a masterpiece of special effects. The creatures and effects that they had in that movie, I still watch them and go, holy, man, that's just...
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
They still hold up.
Yeah, it really blew you away the first time you saw it. Awesome movie.
Well, even the original is still like, man, that's nice, you know.
Oh, the original black and white from the 50s?
Yes. I
Yeah.
still like that one too.
With what's his name from Gunsmoke? James Arness. Playing the monster.
Yeah, Peter Graves' brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should, especially if you go and you look at the amount of detail, the time they spend on the detail from when the John Carpenter one, they go back to where the prequel takes place, and all the destroyed computer room and all that stuff and everything, you go and you can check it against the other movie.
And
see how accurate they got it, and they got it really accurate.
Yeah, they put a lot of effort into it. Like I say, a lot of times they won't do that nowadays. You know, they'll cut some corners, but yeah, the people that did that movie cared a lot about the original, and that's why it was good.
Has anyone heard anything about New Space 1999 going called 2099?
You know, I seem to have saw something on the internet about that last week. But I didn't investigate it or check out the link.
Yeah, I've been hearing rumors about they want to redo the series, but that's what they want to do with it.
They want to call it Moonbase Alpha.
Moonbase Alpha?
Yeah, they want to get rid of the 1999. There's some people that have already done a lot of the CGI work. They had some shorts that they put out showing the Eagles flying and the Moonbase Alpha interior, and it was going to look like almost exactly like the original show. They were going to have the same uniform, same equipment, and just call it Moonbase Alpha instead because they didn't want to have the date.
Yeah, timestamp.
Yeah, and they were. It's one of those outfits that's doing it like the like the fan-produced Trek films that we're seeing now. A private group that was doing it, and they're trying to get funding for it and stuff. But it's got some promise. I hope they keep going with it.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. So I remember watching that as a kid, and I thought those were the most realistic ships.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, at that time for science fiction, it was the most realistic looking. The way space, like you could picture it, like not too far in the future from where we are right now, kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, that was cool. But even if they can just pull it off and just do like maybe a 90-minute movie or something of it, and show them getting back, or what eventually happens at the end of the thing would be kind of cool.
Yeah, really would.
When we left them, they were still going for that long ride to nowhere on the moon. They weren't going to be coming back, so.
Anyway. I'd be curious to see how they actually figured out how to get back.
Yeah, exactly. With not having propulsion system that was very fast anyway, it would take you a long time. I see Armando made it back.
Yeah, I made it back. Hey Boyd, will an alien or a predator kit qualify for the Halloween build?
Absolutely.
That's a silly question.
Sure, it will.
About one that you haven't already built.
I'm thinking of doing the Alien Queen, actually.
Oh,
Queen?
man, there you go.
Yeah, I always
you're
like the
killing me,
Queen.
Armando. You're killing me, Armando.
Which
You know how bad I wanted that Alien Queen from Mobius.
which Queen? Which Queen? Because there was
Polar Lights or Mobius? Polar Lights, yeah. They canceled it, or at least we've heard that they have, and that sucks because that was going to be a nice model kit.
Yeah, I've
yeah,
got
the
Halcyon.
Queen from which movie?
From the second one, Aliens.
Yeah,
Because there was a Queen in AVP.
yeah.
Right, yeah, you're right.
Aliens version, she just looked nasty in that one. She just looked mean. I mean,
Yeah, that's my favorite.
yeah. They had the kit that they were going to come out with had it in a perfect pose too, where it was looking like it was really pissed off and ready to pounce on you.
Yeah.
And, yep.
So they canceled that kid?
Yeah, apparently they've canceled them all. They were going to do the Kane figure, you know, where he's looking into the egg and about ready to get hit. And then there was the Sulaco, a big scale version of the Sulaco ship.
Oh, wow.
The rumors persistently going around, even though apparently some people are saying that are distributors that they haven't heard anything from them officially yet, that they're not going to do it. But for some reason, the rumors getting stronger and stronger around the modeling forums and stuff. So I hope they change their mind, and I hope they at least come out with some of them, because the Alien franchise is really popular. I mean, I'd love to see the Sulaco, a nice Nostromo.
Yeah.
No doubt. All that
Like
stuff.
say a bigger drop ship.
They would have a huge hit on their hands if they did that. I think a lot of people would buy them.
They would.
That armored cruiser thing they had for the ground, what is it, ATC or ATP or whatever they call it? That
I'm a personnel crew.
Yeah,
They make a crappy resin kit of it, but a nice styrene kit of that and a nice size would be nice. And
Well, I wonder if somebody else got the license, because aren't they doing Prometheus 2?
Prometheus is being done by Fantastic Plastic. They've been working on the most for a couple of years.
well, the word from Ridley Scott on Prometheus 2 is that I read something about that too. They're not going to have anything at all in it about it from the Aliens franchise anymore. He's completely that they told that story, that they showed the Navigator guy in this last one and what that was about, and now they're not going to do anything more with it. So I don't know. I mean, they're going to have a good story then, because that's why I went to see the Prometheus. And like I said, I was one of the critics of the film that I thought it was just oddly kind of patched together and kind of strange, but
yeah,
great visuals and everything, but kind of a strange. If you were an Alien fan, you didn't get what you were looking for anyway when I went to see it.
The plot was kind of yeah.
Yeah. But a standalone movie, if they're declaring it going in a new direction, if it's a good story, then I'm sure it'll be popular. But they're going to have to come up with something good.
Definitely.
So what does everybody think of those new Bondi Star Wars kits? Have you guys seen those?
What? I haven't seen them yet.
I'm very optimistic. Having built some Bondi kits, if their quality is anything like, which there's no reason it shouldn't be. I mean, these are going to be some nice model kits.
Yeah.
I think that they might be a little bit more. It depends. You know, I'm kind of curious about that too. If they're going to take those kits and be more towards what Bondi does, where they tend to have more like snap together pre-painted stuff.
I think they are.
It's all snap stuff.
Some modelers are not going to like that. Some are going to want the.
Here you go, Boyd.
Oh yeah, oh look at that. That's the Halcyon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
I think they'll be better than like who was doing the Star Wars kits before, Revell? Like those snap together ones.
Yeah.
They weren't very.
God, I hope not. God, I hope not. They need to be the same quality as all their Gundam stuff, because that stuff just rocks.
I think that's what they're going to be. Look up. You can go on HobbyLink Japan or just search Bondi Star Wars. They showed the ones they have up for pre-order are Stormtrooper, Darth Vader, X-Wing, and the TIE X-1. And then they've also, I think they showed at the show a Y-Wing and then like a double set of a Y-Wing and X-Wing. And then they also showed off a really big Star Destroyer, but they didn't. I don't know if that's
the one I'm talking about. Yeah.
It's prototype.
That's the one that
I want all of them.
If it comes through, that's the one that I would like to get. Nice.
They haven't decided if they're going to do that to Star Destroyer or not. And if they do, it's going to be fully lit like the Space Battleship model, and it's probably going to be somewhere between $700 and $1,000.
Oh my gosh.
Oh wow, they're talking about the 172 X-wing. Yeah, but that's the old X-wing. I want the new one.
There's
Yeah,
also
the 72nd X-wing when I saw it didn't look so great, but the 48th one did.
There's always
I'm looking at the 172 right now.
resin Avenger kit would be cheaper than that. That's would be a lot bigger too and more.
Like the Bondi, like the red section on the fuselage is a separate piece of plastic. All the
Yeah,
different colors.
the 172 even comes with the porthole that and you get the two little clear pink sperm. It looks like sperm
torpedoes, yeah.
shooting down. That's just hokey.
Ford, I forgot to ask you something.
Yes, sir.
When you build that 2500 Battlestar, are you going to use what are you going to do about the landing bay? Are you going to get some clear decal for the force perspective of the landing bay, or are you just going to leave that open?
Well, I'm going to talk to the client a little bit about it. Originally, we didn't talk about doing much lighting in the shuttle bay, or I keep calling it shuttle bay, but the landing bay, other than having it open and having the above lighting, coming down. Now, I've seen people where they built these things where they put some kind of like sequencer, little lighting approach thing in the floor, and that's not accurate to the show. They didn't have that on the show, at least that I couldn't see when I looked at different episodes.
Sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't.
Yeah, see, so because it was CGI, they were changing people doing detail and things like that. So, but I mean, if you wanted to do it on the model, it would be a lot of work because the entire part is a solid piece of resin. The entire floor, it's probably I don't know, 3/4 of an inch thick of solid resin. So I would have to cut a trench in it. The ideal thing would be to get a photo etch piece that would lay down and make a false deck with the holes already in it for the strip lighting, whatever kind of lighting you wanted to have showing, and then
probably
that over top. And the kit came with some nice decals for the whole floor. You know what I mean, of the landing bay. And then we're going to do fiber optics on the alligator head part of the model because it's also like really thick resin on the sides. If I was to try to just drill holes and then put LEDs and light it, they would look too far recessed back in there. So I'm going to have to do fiber optics on that, even though some of the windows are supposed to be square shaped, but really miniature, but you can't do that with fiber optics. So
well, you can and you can't.
Nice and small, and you can't really tell.
You can and you can't, but it's just a little bit more work, a little finagling with the canopy glue and everything like that. You gotta cut the fiber off at almost an angle, have them facing each other, and you gotta put canopy glue in between the two going this way, so it's actually light shining up and across.
Yeah.
It's something we have to do.
It's going to be that small. I mean, that'll be. We'll see what we can do. I mean, we'll try to do the best we can when we start getting into it, whatever options. But the initial plan of just looking at it right now, it looks like it's going to be a lot of fiber optic because you've got all these parts of the model that are solid pieces of resin that you're going to have to just be able to drill like a tunnel through them and then feed some fiber through that and things like that. But
right, and don't go cheap on
the model. I mean, just the detail on the model alone on the outside is the lighting on that is not going to be the main attraction on that model, but the detail on that model is unbelievable. And we're going to do the Aztecs. We're going to paint those on. What I'm having my friend Jerry do at HDA Model Works. He's making me some masks that are going to just be like several thousand really small squares and rectangles, and I'm just going to start. I'll paint my first color, basic color on that model, and then I'll start laying those down, right, in anywhere I want, feel like it, and then spray my next color, which then when I pull the masks, I can do that 2 or 3 times, and then each time I pull the mask, I'm going to have an overlapping color or shade of some kind of gunmetal or metal surface, and then that'll all be, you know, then you've got the separate. That model has this armor plating that's separate from the model, not like the Mobius kit, where you could now paint all those individual pieces of armor plating and then put those on separate and make it look really nice. And it's a beautiful model. I mean, it's one of the nicest resin molds I've seen. You know, it's a nice mold.
Oh, when you pick up your drill bit for drilling it, make sure you tell me you want to do something for metal, 'cause that'll be a lot better.
Right.
Because you use anything else, I'm afraid it may snap or just start wobbling. I've seen that happen.
Yeah. So it's going to be fun. We're going to be getting going on that one as soon as we finish this little 1537 Reliant. We got about another week to go on that, or maybe 2, and then it'll be done.
Oh, no, how come you haven't done a landing bag for that?
For the
Reliant.
Oh no, the client didn't want one, and during the Wrath of Khan, they never show anything with the open shuttle bay or anything like that either. So it's kind of a question out there on that too. Like, how is the shuttle bay really supposed to work on or look in that ship? Because some people made it where it's a 2-bay deal that goes all the way back and then makes a U shape inside the ship, and okay, then there's no room for engineering or anything else. That's too big of a shuttle bay.
Well, those
In reality.
the part in the U, where it goes into a U and come back, everything inside that little part is
the U?
engineering.
Yeah, maybe. That just seems like an awful big shuttle bay for a scout class ship. Really, that's like way bigger than the shuttle bay on the heavy cruiser, the Enterprise. I mean, it's so, you know, anything that they show on that's just been people making it up anyway. So you can kind of do whatever you want.
There's kind of one shot of the shuttle bay, but it's not really the Reliant; it's the Saratoga.
That's right.
Ejecting from that. Have you guys seen the new QMX one? I think they just posted pictures of it like today, and they had the shuttle bay and stuff.
Yeah, I've seen that. They've had it out for a couple of months now. There was a video on there of somebody there's a show on YouTube that they show a lot where that guy that works with Adam Savage, he goes to all these like tech shows and Comic-Cons and interviews people, and he did an interview with QMX. They showed that.
They have a suite.
Like with the 2 doors, the 2 garage doors.
Yeah.
Then
it's about $10,000 or so for that replica. That's a lot of money.
If I had that kind of money, I'd just go ahead and get that 2-foot Viper.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I tried the micro balloons. I mixed it with some epoxy, and it makes a paste. And I used it on the rod, and I used it on the gaps in the back. So I guess I'll let you guys know how it turns out.
Okay.
Good luck.
Hope your balloon doesn't burst. No, that was bad.
I was going to say, on some of those big gaps, Armando, couldn't you take some of that modeler's clay you have and like roll it into like real small little...
I thought about that, but that clay doesn't really... yeah, I thought about that, but I wanted something that would give it a bit more structural rigidity. That stuff, although it doesn't get hard, I don't know. We'll see. If this doesn't work, maybe I'll try that.
Yeah, epoxy sculpt would be better for that. Aged epoxy sculpt.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I mean, yeah, that's something else you may want to think about when you do the scout.
Yeah.
And you mount the engine to the neck.
Mm-hmm.
You may want to use something like an L bracket to either glue the engine to the neck to give it a little bit more strength.
Well, if it goes the way I'm hoping it will, Eric, that it's going to be strong, because I'm going to cut that socket out of the secondary hull since I won't be using it, and then I'm going to shave it down a little bit. I'm going to glue that to the inside of the cylinder of the nacelle with some epoxy, and I mean that'll be like really strong. I mean, because that engine won't even weigh that much, but that will make that whole socket thing. I mean, that's meant to hold up the whole top of the. The interesting thing about that model, though, building it, I've already been thinking about, is that how would you mount it? You know, you've got
right between the neck and the deflector dish.
yeah, either that or what you'd do is, to me, thinking about it, is that you'd run a rod through the neck and down through the bottom of the engine, and so that there'd be just a little short little thing, and the thing would sit like that, you know, on the on a stand or whatever.
Yeah.
And that rod would actually be the rigid, you know, on the inside of it too, where it act like a support for the neck and the.
Now, you building this for yourself?
Huh? Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
You may want to even do one of the, like you was talking about with the model. I mean, with the battery inside, so you rechargeable battery. So you can actually have just a clear rod going all the way down.
The ship that Kirk talked about when he was in his first command is what I was going to do. It was supposedly a destroyer scout class. It was called the Farragut. That's the ship that I was going to do.
And to tell you the truth, I don't know if you ever seen one of these. These are battery packs for like a cell phone.
Yeah.
And recharge it. The smaller one is a micro inlet, and then the bigger one is going to be a USB.
Wow.
So
okay.
These is how small. You know, you're seeing the micro plug into your phone.
Right.
You can get some. That's what. I mean, you can do a lot for your rechargeable batteries and everything. Like you said with the plug, all you gotta do is just plug in, and that's it.
Okay.
So
I got a question for you about the Scout. Are you going to have the nacelle, the intercoolers on the bottom or on the side? Because I've seen it both ways.
The pictures that I have of it, Ian, show them being up on the top in the same positions that that they're supposed to be on the regular heavy cruiser class.
So like
they sit like at an angle like that on the top of each side. Yeah.
No. I mean like the inside intercooler thing.
Oh, you talk about the trench.
That, yes.
Yeah. Well, the pictures that I have of that, they don't. The ones that I have a picture of, they don't show that on there. Where are you seeing it? Where are they putting it?
I feel like the tech manual. I don't remember if it was on, because I've seen it. Like I said, I've seen it both ways. Where the trench, it's supposed to be on the bottom, but then I've also seen it like on the, I don't know, the left side or whatever. So or right, whichever. So I mean, I guess it wouldn't be too hard. You just have to turn it and then glue everything the other way and sand off and fill in the different holes and things.
Actually, Jack Hill, Jack Hill, his books on on the TARS here, I think he has a nice line drawing in there.
Let me see if I've got one of the old. I got one of the old Franz Joseph models, I think. Let me see if I got one here. I've got the new Dreadnought.
Yeah, there's if they put that detail anywhere, I would think it would be on the bottom, because I've seen pictures of it, up on the top where there wasn't anything there, and on the sides they had just the pennant, on each side.
Yeah.
So if anywhere, it would probably be on the bottom, which, like you say, all you have to do is turn the. I was going to turn that nacelle anyway, and I can do that. I think you'll have to do some things to make it look a little bit more symmetrical, though, because I think those things are slightly angled on the edges where they taper a little bit, where like one's supposed to be right or left. So you might have to do a little bit there to make them look something that's more supposed to be straight.
Well, I'm looking at my.
I sent you a link, Boyd, to a guy that made one. The smaller kit, he made it out of the 1000 Enterprise. Yeah. And it might give you some ideas on what you can do with yours.
Okay.
It kind of looks like what he did was he took like the halves of the engines and got rid of the middles, so he could make one that looked like it was supposed to, instead of just taking the whole section of the one side and using it. Took the two outsides and made it one.
Mm-hmm.
But I sent you that link so you can go through and take a look at it.
Cool.
And I just posted a link up on chat forum of guy who has a lot of different blueprints and everything like that for the different eras.
Cool. Yeah, I was just looking at my old Franz Joseph blueprints, and I remembered the ships in there, and I said, hey, I've got that 350 scale kit sitting out there that I got that a while ago when somebody was having a good sale on them. I think I paid like $50 for the kit, and I thought, hey, that'll be cool. And build something a little bit different, and it'll be in the big scale.
Well, I think the one thing with the different engine ways, some people had, they use half of each engine.
Yeah.
That's
what I was just talking about.
Yep.
So that's always that's what it all basically what it comes down to. Somebody use, the two halves of one engine just to make it the perfect symmetrical shape.
Right. Yep. I'll figure that out. But my big question was which way to have the Bastard turning, and you guys answered that for me, because I was struggling with that.
Well, always go with the #1 engine.
Yeah.
And then there's also something for Ralph if he's really bored with nothing to do, he can come up with a pulsating.
Some of the things that I used to think about too was like on Star Trek the animated series. Some of you old timers might remember that. They had some cool designs on that show for some like Federation freighters and stuff too, that were kind of like bulky looking freighters, but they had warp nacelles on them. If you remember the one where there was an episode that had something to do with tribbles in it, and the freighters that the Klingons were attacking or whatever they had like the classic warp nacelles on them. Yeah, there's one of them right there.
More tribbles, more troubles.
Yeah.
Great board. Now I'm going to have to go back and look.
Anybody build any of them, and I thought, wow, those are, and they totally look like the original series. I mean, because that's when that was. I think Matt Jeffries was still probably doing some of the designs and stuff, and yeah, so that would be really cool to build something like that.
You can watch the animated series on CBS.com. They have it on there still.
Oh, I have the whole DVD thing, Bob. I bought it when it came out.
Yeah, I got the collection too.
Back in the day, that was the only Star Trek we were getting after the original show, so it was a big deal. I watched every episode.
I love that.
My mom never seen me get up at 7 o'clock in the morning for anything else.
Some of them weren't so good, but for the most part, I thought they were all right. I thought they had some. Oh yeah, there's
the Bonaventure.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, Shapeways.
The board.
All right, guys. Well, I'm showing about quarter after here. Let me check one more time to see if there's anybody that had any final comments in the questions and answers thing. And I think we're good there, guys. So I just want to say a big thank you to everybody again tonight for showing up and hanging out with us. We had a great time again, talking models, movies, all kinds of cool stuff. Appreciate you guys being here and sharing your work. We'll see you again next week on Tuesday night. Don't forget that on Sundays we have our SFMA Euro Hangouts hosted by Liam Dillon and Craig Kerr. They're having a great turnout for that. I'm really happy with that. They're on at Sundays at 2 p.m. USA Central Time, guys. So hop on over there if you feel like chatting with those guys. And keep up the good work, everybody. We'll see you next week. Until we do, happy modeling, everybody, and good night.
Good night.
Good night, John Boy.
Take care, everybody.